Wednesday in the Cincinnati Open, Taylor Fritz advanced to the quarterfinals by beating Australian Nick Kyrgios 6-3, 6-2. So what transpired to bring this result? The American number one won a battle of big servers, hitting 16 aces to Kyrgios' 7, which were partly offset by 6 double faults. This is what we know at this time. Without further ado, here's a recap of Nick Kyrgios' loss to Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz cruised to a 6-3, 6-2 victory against Australian Nick Kyrgios on Wednesday, advancing to the third round of the Cincinnati Open. In a duel of massive servers, the American number one won with 16 aces to Kyrgios' 7, which he offset with 6 double faults. Fritz, the 11th seed, required only 51 minutes to defeat Australian Kyrgios for the second time since losing to Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon final. Because of Fritz's domination on service, Kyrgios could not generate a single breakpoint during the match, but the 24-year-old American converted 3 of his 7 opportunities. Some group members were dissatisfied with Kyrgios' efforts, and there were a few boos at the end of the one-sided encounter. Greg Rosensky, a former US Open finalist, famously stated on Amazon Prime, "He doesn't appear strong enough to do it week in and week out. The stadium is filled with booing. They didn't believe he'd given it his best on the field, but I think you should give him some leeway. He tried." After that, what will Fritz's next match be? Fritz will face Russian 6th seed Andrei Rublev, who upset Italy's Fabio Fognini 6-7, 7, 7-6, 3, and 6-2 in the previous round. "It feels incredible to have my game come together tonight," Fritz added. "That's the performance I needed to boost my confidence going into the next match." Going to the US Open, many things are clicking. Alex de Minaur, Australia's number one, was also upset, falling 6-3, 6-2 to Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime. The younger Canadian tormented the Sydney-sider because, like earlier this week in Montreal, Kyrgios' firepower was too much for him. The Canadian also regularly struggles to live up to the ideals of his profession. It was a disappointing experience for world number 20, de Minaur, who put in plenty of effort as he sought to mount a comeback from 4-0 down in the second set. With 22 victories, Auger-Aliassime completed his overwhelming triumph. The 22-year-old's passion earned him 4 breaks, but de Minaur only broke once, when all appeared lost at 4-1 down in the second set. An incredible effort capped with a rocketing forehand. Auger-Aliassime soon resumed his authority, breaking for a 5-2 lead and winning the match on his supply in only 78 minutes. The magistrate then denies Nick Kyrgios' request for a 3-month court delay. The magistrate who ruled over Nick Kyrgios' assault case dismissed his request to postpone the 3-month hearing. The Australian tennis player has been charged with common assault following an alleged incident in January 2021 involving his former girlfriend, Chiara Passeri. On Tuesday, the tennis player who came second at Wimbledon in 2022 did not appear in Canberra. Nonetheless, his lawyer, Michael Kukulis-Smith, requested a postponement until November 25th. Kukulis-Smith claimed that an application would be submitted, but would have to be postponed due to Kyrgios' limited time in the region. Magistrate Louise Taylor denied the request and questioned Kukulis-Smith's lack of explanation for the lengthy adjournment. "I'm not exactly sure what the argument for confidentiality is," Taylor told Mr. Kukulis-Smith in the Australian Capital Territory Act Magistrates Court. Taylor was alluding to the court's desire to keep the material private. Taylor stated that while she would not allow the request based on an application that may be filed, plenty of defendants have difficulties that the court would like to accommodate. Kyrgios is currently in the United States preparing for the year's final Grand Slam tournament, which will be held in New York. However, no application has been received. Then came Alexander Zverev, reaction to the US Open. Alexander Zverev, who reached the finals in 2020, will be unable to compete in 2022. The 25-year-old German withdrew from the competition on Monday due to an ongoing ankle injury. Zverev has been unable to play since losing in the Roland Garros quarterfinals to Rafael Nadal in June. Zverev twisted his right ankle while pursuing a ball beyond the baseline during the second set tiebreak and was forced to leave the court in a wheelchair. Following that, he underwent surgery to repair 3 burst lateral ligaments in his wounded ankle. Zverev had participated in 27 consecutive Grand Slam main draws since his debut in 2015, until this ailment moment forced him out of Wimbledon. 7 years in the main draw at the US Open, including a runner-up finish to Dominic Thiem in 2020 and a semi-final performance the previous year. To replace Zverev, American Stefan Kozlov enters the main draw. Despite being ousted in qualifying for the US Open 6 times prior, the 24-year-old Floridian will finally make his main event debut. Stefanos Tsitsipas celebrates courageous victory over Daniil Medvedev to advance to the Cincinnati Masters final. Daniil Medvedev's tactics in the Cincinnati Open final were described as courageous by Stefanos Tsitsipas. The world number 1 was defeated by Greece's 4th seed, who dashed to the net and limited his opponent's ability to play from deep on the court. 7-6, 6, 3-6, 6-3. Tsitsipas said after defeating Medvedev for the 3rd time in 10 encounters, "There were some difficult shots that I had to play a little longer. I entered the game after taking advantage of a few short balls." Tonight's surprising victory resulted from countless gutsy serve and volleys and net approaches. Tsitsipas won the first and third sets, but lost 5-0 in the second set as he struggled with his service game, eventually losing 6-3. "I knew I needed to prepare for a fight because the third set wasn't going to be easy," Tsitsipas said. "He made it physically and mentally difficult for me. I took advantage of his dropped first serves. I guess there were a few times when it seemed like everything was going my way." He continued to miss first serves, giving me time to plan my next move. "At breakpoint, he threw me a double fault, which I felt was a vital psychological moment for me to produce my best shot. I kept my cool and concentrated on every task assigned to me, even if it was only a few games away." Tsitsipas will meet Borna Coric in the tournament final, who defeated Cameron Norrie 6-3, 6-4 in the other semi-final of the day. Caroline Garcia continues 2022 resurgence in Cincinnati Masters final, beating Petra Kvitova. Caroline Garcia's 2022 comeback continued in Cincinnati when she destroyed Petra Kvitova and made WTA history by winning the WTA 1000 title. The French number 1 became the first qualifier to win a WTA 1000 event, moving up to 17th in the rankings and into the top 20 for the first time since 2019. "I'm healthy again. I can move freely on the court, and I can play my game," she said when asked what she credited for her recent success. "I enjoy competing and exercising. I'm taking chances while maintaining a winning attitude. I'm trying to get as far ahead as possible, and it appears to be working since I'm having fun." Since recovering from a foot injury in May, the 28-year-old has been on fire, winning the Roland Garros doubles title and leading the WTA singles tour in match victories. Many people predict she will win the US Open. "Of course," she replied. "It's been a dream of mine since I first started playing tennis as a child. It's astounding how many people believe I'll win the US Open. There was nothing there a few months ago. I'd recently returned from an injury, and no one trusted my tough exterior since I made too many mistakes. Tennis requires only hard work, faith, keeping positive, and having supportive friends to generate quick results." Garcia exudes confidence, so she launched an attack right away. She had a busy week, winning against Maria Sakkari, Jessica Pegula, and Aryna Sabalenka. Finally, before the US Open, Emma Raducanu says, "I have improved as a player." Emma Raducanu is upbeat as she prepares to defend her US Open title, saying she has developed as a player in the last year. Since her surprising Grand Slam victory as a qualifier in New York last year, the 19-year-old has struggled for consistency and form. She did, however, show flashes of her unrivaled abilities the week before at the Cincinnati Open, defeating Serena Williams and Victoria Azarenka, before falling in the last 16 to world number 8 Jessica Pegula 7-5, 6-4. "I think I've evolved as a player," Raducanu told the Daily Mail. "I accomplished a lot last year, but I was just playing for fun, and I'm starting to do that again. I'm overjoyed with how I performed this week. It's a significant improvement." Raducanu is pleased after a brilliant and morale-boosting week in which she beat Serena Williams before overcoming two-time major winner Azarenka. "Having this much exposure to opponents is incredible," she concluded. "At this level, every match teaches me what works and what doesn't. I'm more certain about what I'm doing today." Raducanu has yet to add a trophy to her 2021 US Open victory, and unless she can go deep again in New York, she will slip in the rankings. She'll be defending 2,040 points, the most ever by a player in a tournament, 2,000 for winning and 40 for qualifying. qualifying. And if she loses even a piece of it, she'll be out of the top 50 or 60. That concludes our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe before you leave. Thank you for watching.